Go ahead, start us off.
Jeez. First off, we'll run through the health updates and get those out of the way. Also, Indy wasn't out there
No,
today?
no.
We start with him.
Indy took hit his head in training yesterday. Again, now want to be careful with Indy. Concussions are very serious, and our medical staff is looking at it. I don't have information right now on whether he's in or out. But you know, in the concussion protocol that we have to follow, he wasn't able to train today.
And then Toyer, not out there.
He was out there early, doing a workout, but he did not participate in training.
So what's his situation?
50-50. Hope that he can be fully fit for Saturday, but it's Thursday and he wasn't in training. So
And then Chris Durgan?
Durkin is another one not looking so good. Just can't get rid of this inflammation in his knee. And that's, I sound like a broken record, but that's concerning.
I mean, but also you're at a point in the year where you can give the guy a break.
Can. I don't know what that means for us. We want to, in the best way possible, put the best team we can on the field against Sporting. And we talked about it a little bit last week that with, when you're trying to protect guys' health, being really mindful of positional, competition within training, and then being prepared for Saturday. A lot of these decisions are difficult to make for our staff. But the good news is, I'm really pleased with our depth right now. We've rotated a lot of guys in the last couple months, and as a whole, I think we're physically well prepared when I call on a guy to play minutes. Akil Watts is a perfect example. Hadn't seen first team minutes in quite some time. He had to play, I want to say, over 80 minutes total time last week, and did a fantastic job out of one mistake where Bürki saved his ass. But besides that, it was great.
Are you actually concerned about, I think, wins play a role in whether or not you get to keep the job?
Not for me to, I could speculate, but I don't know that for sure. I think that's part of the business that we're all in. We do this at the level that we do it, and we are expected to get results, and that's just is what it is. And, I would say further than that, Tom, our players and staff, everybody working in that building knows that Saturday is an important game for us. And whether it's my bicycling buddies who are like, hey, don't worry about any other game, but you better beat Sporting, that's not a choice. You better, that's what it is. So I don't think about myself in that regard. I think about trying to make these collective decisions which are best for our team and give our team the best chance to be successful.
Tom Shores.
This is serious.
Okay.
Have you thought about learning German?
I took German at Wake Forest, and I had to literally go through German literature. So it's in my brain somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's not really at the front of the brain right now. So,
but does that help you having studied?
It does. Yeah. It does. I can pick up on the little phrases, and, I can say how many passes we want to make in a possession activity. Zwei passes, sorry, zwei connecta, like these little things. I can say I want one beer, ein bisschen, but I'm not going to get really far with it. And, depending on how long I'll be here and how many more Germans come to this club, then maybe I'll start thinking about, open up those textbooks and audio tapes, but I'm good for right now.
That's great.
Justin.
Coach, you touched on the positional battles a little bit earlier, but Thomas Dowling comes in last week after Jake Nowinski had started the previous 3 games and plays a fantastic full 90. How is that battle like this week, and especially heading into such an important game?
Good. Both of them are playing fantastic. Both of them are doing everything they can to be selected. I think to your point, it's a really good, when we can have a positional battle that positively impacts two players. You see Jake get an opportunity to play really well. Now you see Tots, raise his game, probably play his best defensive game in a city uniform. Like that's healthy. We are doing in that example, we're doing the right thing for both those players. And I would say even the guy who's third on the depth chart, and even the guy who's at City 2, and the guy who's in the U18s, like it trickles down when they can visibly see that happening on the training field and then watch the selection and then the performance of those guys. It's a really good example.
And then that kind of battle bleeds up into the attacking role with Twitcher not being able to, or maybe not being able to play this weekend. Are you looking forward to those options that you have now with the players they brought in over the summer?
Yeah, I'm hopeful that Seti can go. And we are going to be better with Seti on the field, if he can go. But we also have a little depth right now. We have a lot of depth at those positions, and that makes for tough choices, but they're the choices you want to have.
Next, we'll go to Matt Rocchio.
Hey, Coach Hack, as you're talking about both Jake and Tots playing so good in training, is there a potential that you would start both of them with using Jake as like a third center back and having Tots in like a more back five, just as a way of getting your best 11 out there for a game that's so important?
It's a good question. It's fair. I don't think I would, Matt. I'd like to try to define roles for guys. And in this case, we defined for Jake and Tots that you guys are competing for the right back position. If there was a necessity that, maybe we were going to play in a different system out of the back, I would consider moving, Jake in and putting Tots wide. I don't think Jake was with us when we played in Sporting last time. Do you remember that? But to your point, Matt, if you remember, we started Kyle in a back three, really wide right, and we moved Tots up. It would be an example that if I was going to do the same thing, I would think about Jake and Tots in that regard. But very honestly, I'm not thinking about that for this weekend.
Tom.
Why German? Why, when you were at Wake, did you study German?
The professor, this is a long story. I'll tell it anyway. I signed up. I was going to take Spanish, but when you had to take an entrance exam, and I Christmas treed the whole exam, and I somehow clept out of beginner 1 and beginner 2 Spanish. So I walked into a Spanish class, and the professor was speaking Spanish, and I literally raised my hand. And in those days, you got a pink slip to withdraw. And I knew I had to start in some other language with a beginner level. And there was an awesome professor in German. I mean, he was amazing. He was also a fan of the soccer team. And I knew I'd heard stories about how good a teacher he was, and he made it easy, and he did. It was fantastic. So good decision. But
I forgot to ask about Edu when we went through the players. How's his hamstring?
good. He's been in training all week. We've managed his load, and I think he is back and at full fitness right now.
Since going back to the City 2 days, you have embraced this rivalry. Even back then, you were there. What just you recognizing the value of a rivalry, or?
Of course. And I mean, I'm a huge sports fan, and like, I love to hate on somebody else. So why not hate on Kansas? I mean, they're technically, I guess, in Missouri, but
At Wake, who was the big rival?
I mean, if you're at Wake, you pretty much have to hate Duke, no doubt. You highly dislike Carolina. You gotta not like NC State. So Tobacco Road was an interesting place
So
there.
Duke
for that.
wins out.
Duke, you hate Duke.
It's easy
So,
to,
yeah. They're easy to hate. So I don't like the word hate, by the way. I should not be on camera saying I'm just passionately disliking these other opponents.
We got time for 2 more. We'll go to Tom Shores and then Matt.
So quickly, 2 weeks in a row now, we've talked about Wake Forest, right? what would
Best school in the country.
what would the current that right now John Hackworth tell the kid John Hackworth who is at Wake Forest in terms of, you know, a bit of what you've learned from this road that you've been on?
I think I would do exactly what my coach at Wake Forest did to me. And that is, his name was Walt Chiswitz. And he said, you have something, believe in yourself, and you can be whatever you want to be. And he thought that was me being a coach.
We'll wrap up with Matt.
Coach, how do you balance overloading a defense by kind of like getting more numbers in a certain area than they have defenders versus, you know, not straining your team too much by being too strong or weak in certain areas?
The word is balance, and that's a really important word in our sport because you need balance all the time so that you're not, you know, overloaded in one area. You want to try to do the opposite. You want to overload your opponent so that they don't have balance, so that you can find space to attack. And when that space is open, hopefully you're well prepared to attack that space. But it's balance. You know, there's always, you know, if you put 5 people in the back, that means you're limiting some attacking space forward. From my point of view, I want 11 guys on the field, including the goalkeeper, to be involved in every phase of the game so that we can have really good mobility and interchanging of roles so that our opponent can't figure out who to defend, you know, where we're going to be, so that we have the edge in all those phases.
Zach, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Gatsby.
Right, Tom.
Rowan, what do you look for out of these last 4 games of the season with the playoffs? Pretty much.
I think just to end the season with a positive result, you know, like just we know that it was a difficult season, you know, we know that we can do better. And now we just need to finish the season up with good performances, with the most amounts of wins that are possible to get, you know, like we just want to win every game. And the first step we did now with the first away win, you know, which we were struggling before. And yeah, just finish the season up with a positive thing.
How have you liked how this team has looked like since the end of Leagues Cup?
Yeah, we definitely improved a lot. I would say with the ball, playing with the ball, not just shoot the ball away, you know, when we are in up or when we are in a difficult situation, when we have to defend, we actually try to keep the ball, you know, a little bit longer. And so I'm pretty happy with the way what way we are going to.
Tom Shores.
You come from one of the most beautiful places in the world, Switzerland, in my humble
Thank you.
opinion. Yeah, given that, what's your take on living in St. Louis?
It's different. I mean, I would say from what the nature gives, you know, Switzerland is definitely I would say a few steps ahead, you know. But the people here, you know, I'm surrounded by a lot of people, and everybody's very friendly and open, you know. Like in Switzerland, the people are more just focusing on their own, minding their own business, you know, don't really look left and right. Here, people are more open and very friendly. So I really appreciate that, and I feel very, very comfortable here.
Justin.
Roman, you touched on the last 4 games, talking with Cedric after the win last week. He talked about just building momentum into next season. How much would a win this weekend in the Derby, along with the road win last week, just be setting the table for kind of the offseason and then into 2025?
For me, this next game against Kansas has nothing to do with the season. This is a personal thing. We have to win. This is a game which should be for everyone here a very important game. I just can explain it like how it was in Dortmund with Schalke, you know, like if you win that game, it's like you won the championship, like you won the league, you know, like you just need to win that game. And I'm gonna be ready and I'm gonna prepare myself for that game, just to win that game. And I don't think about how it would look like if we would win because we won last week. You know, I don't care. I just want to win, like, beat Kansas.
And then getting back to the rivalries, it's starting to feel like that on the pitch as well. You know, last year we kind of talked about how it was a rivalry with the fans, but since you hadn't played each other much, it wasn't necessarily feeling like that. But now that you've played each other plenty over the past years, it's starting to feel heated out there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good atmosphere. When we played there, it was nice to hear the little Kansas fans throw words at me. You know, I really like that. So, and also when we play at home, you know, the atmosphere is great. And but now it's time to give the answer on the field and not just on the microphones and talking.
So you can now legitimately be like angry at Kansas City fans?
No, I'm not. Why should I get angry at it? I mean, they're trying to support their club. That's perfect. That's fine. So as long as our fans are supporting us, I have absolutely no problem with other fans supporting their own club. So that's not making me angry. It more like gives me a better feeling going into the game. Yeah.
What does it mean having more Bundesliga guys just not necessarily the Bundesliga, but that level of experience that you get with Toyert and Hartl?
I think you don't really have to tell you what it is because you can probably see it in the games, like what these guys are doing to our team. Like they're finding spots and they're seeing details what others don't. They are in the right spot. Seti is always in the right spot to score a goal. That's a difference. Cello is always in the right spot to receive a ball. So, and he does the right moves to go out of pressure and makes it look easy. That's the difference, you know, like sometimes I call it soccer IQ, you know, that's where these guys are ahead of others. That's just, yeah, how it is.
This has to have been a rough season. It has having the level go up here, has that kind of brought a little bit of satisfaction?
Oh, I'm very happy with the team that we have. Very happy. From maybe the guys who don't really play a lot, but in training try to give everything to push the guy in front of them. That's all we need, you know. Like we have to, like you talked before with Hack about Jake and Tots. You know, these guys are friends with each other. You know, they talk with each other after training. Like they try to help each other. So that's how it should be. Obviously, I don't really want that the other guy is playing in front of me. So I want to be the guy who's starting. But if you can push yourself through with the other guy, like to go to make you better each and every time in training, that's how it should be.
What's it been like defensively? Because there's been a lot of goals allowed this year. How when you look at this team defensively, how big have the struggles been? And do you see a lot of little mistakes that are what is proving costly here?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's probably the most goals I concede ever in my career in a season. It's feels horrible. I usually don't want to talk after that, you know. But I mean, it's just like quality of defending, you know. Like we have now two different coaches, you know. One saw the things. Bradley saw the things a little bit different than what we want to try and do now. And I think sometimes for the player, it's not easy to just switch, you know, like things that we have done for 1.5 years with Bradley are maybe still stuck in the head somewhere. And in the heat of the moment, you do this instead of the things we are trying to implement now. So it's definitely not easy for the defenders, but also it's not just the back four. It's the whole team that has to be defend better. And usually when we do analysis and videos, you see that it starts up front, with another mistake that we made.
Tom Shores.
Guys, As a team leader, have you given like more speeches this year?
Sorry.
Have you had to give more speeches as a team leader this year?
No, Hack is doing a, a really good job. You know, like I'm usually the guy who's here for the negative stuff when I have to like be angry and stuff. But Hack is also a very emotional guy who's like coming straight to the point, not talking around the topic. So he's coming straight to the point, and that's something I like. So I can breathe and calm down for myself.
How is, speaking of German in general today, how is Hack's German, his use of the German language coming
Yeah, so
along?
he's using, I think, one word in every meeting we have. So that's Zwischenraum, because that's are the spaces we have to find between the lines, and his pronouncing is very good. So
B plus, you think, or A?
I would say, yeah, B plus is good. He's definitely have room to improve, but it's already decent.
He'll work on it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So
he will.
what is that word?
Zwischenraum,
Okay.
the room between the spaces.
One more, if anyone has one.
So is that related in any way to Schadenfreude?
No, Schadenfreude is what we maybe can have after we beat Kansas.
Right.